guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We're back here at my favorite filming spot location because guess what? We have a vehicle from Volkswagen that's getting some pretty distinctive changes for 2024, and it's this vehicle right here. What is this? It's a 2024 Volkswagen Atlas. This particular one is the Cross Sport. But before we get into this shortened three-row SUV without the third row, let's talk about what the heck is going on here. So the Atlas really made a big splash for Volkswagen here in the US market because to this day, it is still their largest vehicle that they currently sell here in the States. Now what's fascinating is that after they came out with the three-row version, they decided to chop some of the end of it off and pluck the third row out to make a two-row midsize SUV. Very unique to do that because a lot of brands are getting rid of their two-row SUVs. Now, one brand that still does is Honda with the Passport. The Passport is essentially a Pilot, sort of changed a little bit on the outside without that third row. So what I want to find out is if you're looking for that two-row midsize SUV and you're thinking either Honda or Volkswagen, we're going to find out should you go with this updated, upgraded 2024 model of the Cross Sport. Let's go ahead, let's dive in and find out. Right off the bat, the proportions really fit this vehicle. It's interesting how by cutting some of the end of the vehicle off, it really does give it such a distinct look, almost like the sister version, the Audi Q8. Now at the front end of the business, you're gonna see some changes. We got new lighting, new LED daytime running lamps, LED turn signals, and of course, double stuffed, double stacked LED headlights. You'll notice how the LED daytime running lamp actually flows across the whole front of the vehicle and the badge itself actually illuminates. You see that bright white? That's actually LED light. At night, it looks spectacular. Now in the lower corners, what do we have? We have a refreshed bumper, lower fascia area, a lot of gloss black. The one thing I wish they would have done in this area, and the reason why I'm gonna zonk it, is there's no fog lights in here. Imagine if they would have put 3 levels of fog lamp. That would have looked really cool. Plus, it would stop the zonk from happening. But definitely, it looks good, just not functional. You do have a little bit of chrome trim. The rest is gloss black. Now, as we come across the new shape grille with that updated badge, you have a forward-facing camera. And I like the way you have the gloss black horizontal elements, the individual pieces, and this is an R-line trim. And we'll talk more about that when we get to the interior. On the bottom portion, you still have that bold center area with the gloss black, a little bit of chrome, and then they finish it off with gloss black on the lower bumper area. But definitely looks very contemporary and very German. Makes sense because Volkswagen has been around since the 1930s as a German brand. Now, as you rise up, you're still getting the same bold hood as the previous year. Nice, crisp, clean lines, just like the bigger third row version of this vehicle. And then when we come around the bend, if we got a new front end, we gotta have some new wheels. What do we have going on with this vehicle? You'll notice our new style wheel, machined aluminum, the gloss black, really digging the overall size and style of the wheel. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of this? This is a 21-inch wheel. Not many midsize SUVs in this segment coming with 21-inch wheels. The largest you could get on a Passport is a 20-inch. So very interesting that they went super big. We have 4Motion. What is that? 4Motion is Volkswagen's all-wheel drive system. It's front-wheel drive based, but it sends power to the rear wheels, sort of like Honda's all-wheel drive system, that super handling all-wheel drive, front-wheel drive base, and it could send up to 70% of the power to the rear wheels. Now, one of the zonks that I personally have is I don't like the flat black around the fender opening. Let me know what you think. I think it should be all this beautiful gray instead of the flat black, but let me know down in that comment section what you think it should be. And then of course, with this overall tire size, you're looking at 265 on the width, 45 series sidewall. And like I said, I think the design is very clean, just like the exterior. Now, as we rise up, you're still gonna get those bold, crisp lines in the fender. And I love the way this one kind of waterfalls right into the trim. Trim, Cross Sport, doesn't look like a fake vent. It's not supposed to be a fake vent. Just some nice trim to kind of spark up the door panel and the fender. Color match on the tops of the mirror caps. You got your LED turn signals. And then from the side, this is where you notice the shortness. And I'm really thinking that it fits this particular model very well. They went ahead and painted everything on the lower portion, which I wish they would have done around the fender openings, with a little bit of the chrome trim. I like the way they didn't go too over the top with the chrome trim. You got color matched on the door handles. The trim top and bottom around our window openings is that shiny bright metalwork, including the roof rails. You'll notice the Volkswagen name right there every time you get in. Very nice, the people's car. That's what Volkswagen stands for. That's what Volkswagen means. Fahrvergnügen, a driver's pleasure. I almost feel like I'm German. Now, the rear quarter window, they flare out that trim, just like previous generations. I'm telling you, what really makes this car is the belt line. This hard, crisp line that flows from the front to the back of the vehicle on the side really gives it some nice identity. When we spin around to the back, you're gonna get new lighting, just like you got up front. So we have all new LED taillights, turn signals, backup lamps. You got your 4Motion badge. That means we have all-wheel drive. The roof spoiler, I think, could be extended out a little bit more so we could get rid of this wiper. But guess what? The Passport also has an exposed wiper. So let me know in the comment section how you feel about that. But I'm digging what they did with the taillights, especially because on the badge on the rear, it's actually lit up red. And at night, it looks spectacular. Nice, clean Atlas name. And then, of course, as we drop down, this is where things get a little bumpy, sort of like that camera. It's gonna be the exhaust. We have fake exhaust on both sides. What the heck is going on here? Why would they do something like that? It would look so good if they were functional. But I'm gonna have to zonk that, but you do have full towing capability. You could tow up to 5,000 pounds with this Crossport. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's all new for 2024. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have a hydraulic hood strut. Underneath the hood, this is where there's some big changes, and you might like them, you might not like them. What do you have? You have a 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine. No more V6 available. Now, the good news is this is not a carryover engine from last year, even though it is the same displacement. This is a new engine, now producing 269 horsepower, 273 pound-feet of torque, made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 in about 6.7 seconds, quarter mile in 15.1 seconds at 120 miles per hour top speed. MPGs, 19 in the city, 26 on the highway, and with all-wheel drive, this vehicle weighs 4,600 pounds. Now, if you're comparing this to the Passport still has that one engine option only. That's a naturally aspirated V6, pumping out about 280 horsepower and made it to a 9-speed automatic transmission. So you be the judge. Let me know in the comment section, are you disappointed with only the availability of a 4-cylinder turbo? But why don't we go ahead, let's fire it up and see this Volkswagen roll. All right, guys, we are inside this 2024 Volkswagen Atlas Crossport. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I've been looking for a mid-size 2-row SUV, and you are right. I can't find any, but I'm liking this Volkswagen. How much is it? And that's the very good question. First of all, you have that ability to verbally talk to the system of the car and get certain things. I don't want to talk to anybody, so I shut her up. What I want to talk about is the price. So on this VW, you're looking at a price right at $53,000. Now that is for an SEL Premium R-Line with all-wheel drive. There's many different ways you could spec it, but let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels, updated for 2024. I love that nice dark trim with the pattern on it. It actually has blue ambient lighting behind there, which is really cool. It's laser etched. It's hard to see in the sun, but I think Steven will be able to show you when we get to the dash. We have the Harman Kardon sound system. I love the two-tone with the perforated white, no gloss black, and then check out that door pocket. It is ginormous. You could easily get 2 Big Macs a large fry, actually 2 large fry, and a vanilla milkshake to wash it down. Now going from the door panel to the dash, let's see if Steven can earn his money today. It actually says Cross Sport here in blue, and you see the nice lighting that's all laser etched, and there's ambient blue between the gloss black and the white trim. And I love the way they brought in the white trim. What's kind of a little weird is why did they do 2 different vents instead of just one big one? Very interesting how they did that. Seems like a little over the top, but the rest of it is very classy. You slide on in, what do we got going on here? Nice large 12-inch infotainment system with your navigation. You got heated seats, ventilated seats. The challenge is, the zonk is that you have to go through the screen. There's no physical buttons. So I'm gonna turn on my 3 stages of ventilation, then we're gonna go back, and then we're gonna hit the home button, and now you have your different layouts, different systems, different information, very intuitive, very fast reacting. You could go into vehicle, and what we could find is, look, there's our Cross Sport, your oil level, all those different types of things. Here's another thing that's a pain in the butt, is having to go into the system to do that. I just want a button. I don't want to go through 10 steps on a screen. Another thing you could do is hit these different home buttons. For example, mode. Now we have our different modes, and that's going to change the driving dynamics of this Atlas Cross Sport. Coming back, well, hold on. Before we go down, we have to go into reverse. We got to go backwards before we go down. Super clear, high def resolution with trajectory, and you got the 360 cam, which is really nice. And then I put it back in the park. Working our way down, you do have a lot of gloss black, but I think a lot of people are going to do that because you have your wireless charging, 2 USB-Cs, and a place for 2 packs of candy cigarettes. I like the stitching on the side, and what's new is down below, you get enough room for a purse, a merce, a sack, a satchel. If you're driving around playing with your balls, your softballs, you could put 4 different softballs down here. So you don't have to play with your balls anymore while you're driving. 2 cup holders. I do like the Volkswagen key fob, it's very classy. Remote start. That's your new shifter, electric shifter. It's like a little nub for the 8-speed automatic. You got the perfect space for a German Twinkie. Soft material on the armrest, the stitching. We open it up, you got another USB-C, some felt lining, and you could easily put, I would say, 5 He-Man action figures in there. Remember, they're action figures, they're not dolls. You could put He-Man in there, you could put the whole crew. Maybe if you had a sister, or you just like collecting them all, you could even put She-Ra in there. So, whatever floats your boat. Seats, love the new material, nice and soft, perforated, love the stitching, the piping. You do have electric assist for the passenger, electric assist for the driver, and guess what? We're not done. You have that ginormous panoramic sunroof that goes all the way back. Love the one-touch operation. Look at that. Look, Mom, no hands, and it's closing. But why don't you come over here? I want to show you behind the new steering wheel in this updated Cross Sport. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have 3 memory seat settings for the driver's seat. Nice, tasteful aluminum sill plate. I don't need it to say Cross Sport on it. Pedal box is right out of a race car. Large aluminum dead pedal. This is what I'm always talking about. We don't see in so many cars. Aluminum brake pedal and throttle. You even have the Atlas embroidery on the floor mat. That's easily worth another 6 horsepower. Power control seats, and that's where you have your 3 memory seat settings. The seats are so comfy in here. I really, really love it. Plenty of headroom. I'm 6 feet tall, and then we got the new steering wheel. Flat bottom with the R badge, because this is an R line. Flat black on all the switchgear. You do have paddles to go through the 8-speed automatic, and it is manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel, and then you have that beautiful gauge cluster. Lots of information. And then, of course, when you go into the different modes, that's when you're also going to get a little bit different change on what is being displayed. Plus, talk about changing the display. Look at that. You can even bring up the navigation. That's pretty cool. Or you could do that. Check it out. That's pretty neat. So definitely a nicer instrumentation cluster than the one that you find in a Passport. And you have a head-up display. So they got you covered there. But why don't we get in the back seat and see if your passengers are going to be happy that you went Cross Sport. All right, guys, rear seat time. What's amazing is that the rear seat passengers get just as much room as the front seat people. Lots of headroom. I'm 6 feet tall, even with that panoramic sunroof. I like the way they went dark on the back of the seats, so you don't have to worry about boogers and stuff, earwax that your kids pick from their body and put on the back. You can clean it off. Good sized pocket, easily put, I would say, 4 packages of Chips Ahoy cookies in there. I just want some milk to dunk them. And then of course you have your rear AC, nicely placed. 3 stages of heated seats, no ventilated seats, and I'm gonna zonk that at $52,000. Down below you got 2 USB-Cs and a home power source. I got plenty of room here, and what's nice is, watch this. Woo! Leaning back, because I'm chilling like a villain. Easy to do. And then you pull this bad boy down. I'm gonna zonk it because there's not enough room for your arm. This is hard plastic for a cup, not for your arm. I guess you could call it an elbow holder, but that really just feels uncomfortable because right now I'm hitting my funny bone and I'm not laughing. So I would like to see a little bit more armrest, but I'm glad that these seats look just like the seats up front, unlike a Civic Type R where they give you totally just plain Jane base seats in the back. But why don't we go ahead, talk about the back. Let's get into the cargo area and see what we could stuff in this crosssport. All right, guys, time to get in that cargo area. Now, what's nice is you got that electric assist, opens up very smoothly. This is what I'm talking about. When you go 2-row midsize SUV, look at how much space we have. And it's not the same as if the row was just left in here. Taking out the row, taking out the seat belts gives us a little over 40 cubic feet of space. You got your 60-40 split, which will allow you to lay the seats down and maximize out at 78 cubic feet of space. I love the nooks that they have. So you have the perfect size for a box of Twinkies, and on that side, you have the perfect nook for a supersized bottle of Yoo-Hoo. What's even better is you lift this up, you do get a spare, which is a very nice touch. A lot of vehicles not coming with a spare. And then of course, when you put the seats down, you got plenty of room for all those ginormous things like the big, huge barrel of pickles that you love to eat. But why don't we go ahead, if you're ready, I'm ready. Why don't we go for a little spin and see how this new Atlas Crossport drives? All right, guys, we're inside this 2024 Atlas Crossport. I'm gonna come to a complete stop. Nobody's behind us. And we're gonna see the acceleration on throttle. Here we go. Smooth shifts from that 8-speed automatic. And what's interesting is that even though, like I pointed out, that it's a smaller engine than the V6 from last year, it does have pretty much the same amount of horsepower and torque. So that's the plus side behind it. The downside is obviously with it being a 4-cylinder, it's got that traditional 4-cylinder sound. But you know what? The Honda Passport V6 is not a very quiet, smooth running engine. It's actually pretty noisy, so it kind of negates that whole comparison. Going down the road, great visibility out the front. You would be impressed by what you see out the back glass, even though it is sharply slanted. The way that they designed the steering wheel, you have a clean view of that instrumentation, and the fact that you could change it many different ways is really a nice extra touch as well. I just brought back the actual gauges with the instrumentation, the infotainment, and the navigation in the center. So that's really cool to change it all out. You can make it smaller and just have a larger map. You have your head-up display, and getting to the screen is awesome. You can see the blue ambient lighting while we're here underneath this overpass. Very, very cool, especially with the way it says Crossport. But I'm very happy with how easy it is to get to the infotainment system. The only problem is like I said, working it is all through the screen and these other sliders on the bottom. Other than that, there's no physical knobs or switch gear. Driving down the road, I think you're going to be happy with how little wind noise there is. Obviously, there's some road noise from those larger 21-inch wheels and tires, but wind noise is really not too shabby in here. And this is one of those vehicles that, you know what, you could drive it through the city and be comfy, but you could also get out on the highway and be comfy as well. And with everything laid out so smartly in here, it does make it such a breeze to drive, even though this is a little larger SUV than maybe some people might be used to. Seats are very supportive, very comfy without feeling squishy or anything like that. And like I said, there is a bit of gloss black, but most people will have this door open. That's where I have my phone charging. And the fact that you have so much storage now so that you could put your balls somewhere, it makes life a little bit more easier for everybody. But of course, you're gonna get all the usual safety features. And the fact that this has such good visibility, I could change lanes at any given notice and know exactly who's where and not have a ton of blind spots. But very, very smooth driving. And it's nice that they give you the option. Not many brands are doing that with these mid-size SUVs. If you want two-row, you have to go compact. But the ventilated seats feel great. You have the Harman Kardon sound system. And you have that 4Motion all-wheel drive that just grips and sticks. Now in sport mode, you are getting artificial sound pumped in through the speakers, but watch this. I'm gonna hit the mode button. I'm gonna go into comfort, and that's gonna quiet the whole experience up. Nice to see that you also have off-road, snow, and eco, or you could customize it. So that's great too. But once we go on throttle here, you'll be able to see and hear just how different it is being in normal mode. Now, being in normal, it's not just about the artificial sound. It slows the steering, slows the throttle response. But here we go on throttle. So you still have the 4-cylinder sound. There's no way around that, but they're not pumping in any kind of sporty sound. And I kind of like that, especially when you're driving on the highway and stuff. I don't want to hear that artificial sound. But definitely the materials in here are very upscale compared to the Honda Passport with this Volkswagen Cross Sport. Interesting how the word sport is in both of the names. But I'm hoping that this has been a nice, good overall review of what the 2024 Atlas Cross Sport is bringing for the money. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a nanosecond. All right, guys, been another great day here in Clearwater with this 2024 Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport. Definitely want to thank the whole Volkswagen team for getting us access to this vehicle. Let me know what you think. Are you happy with the changes, especially with what's underneath that hood? Let me know down in the comment section, or would you rather go Honda Passport? I'm very curious to find out what you have to say about that. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Radius Rise family. Of course, we need to give it up. Stephen Flood Photography, working like a champ. Show him some love in the comment section. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.